Hello, this is This, and it's some good news, some bad news, but most of that will have to wait until after this whole E3 stuff ends. I'm going to talk about something else connected with E3, not associated with anything to do with Wii U or PS3, except for one small aspect. But anyways, as we know, Motorola is suing Microsoft over some patents, and Alpha Omega put up a video somewhat saying that Microsoft is suing. I mean, Motorola is suing Microsoft over these patents, and of course, Motorola's making these razors, which is kind of half true, half. Well, I wouldn't say a lie; it's just misinformation here. But anyways, thing is that Motorola. Well, first of all, I'm just going to say this out loud. Motorola is two companies now. Both are suing Microsoft, but one's suing them over the Xbox, the other one's suing them over for the mobile division. Motorola Mobile is basically suing Microsoft over certain patents made over their phone area because, and of course, Motorola Mobile has a good reason because Microsoft sued Android and a couple of their partners over certain bullshit patents and basically won the case, and now forcing other companies like LG to make Motorola phones, even though LG doesn't want to make Motorola phones. And of course, Motorola Mobile is now owned by Google, which runs Android. And of course, Microsoft makes a small profit off of Android phones now. But then again, Google makes a small profit off of iOS phones. Odd, huh? And yes, Motorola Mobile is still attached to the Motorola website, even though it's no longer a division of Motorola, even though it's still got the Motorola name on there. Go fig. But Motorola itself has decided to sue Microsoft on their Xbox over certain patents and shit too, as well. One of which I think is over a video C code, and the other one is through the Wi-Fi connection, which is done through their controller. Half of the Wi-Fi patents got thrown out, but I think a good chunk of it's still staying in. And in fact, I think that the first ruling came in Motorola's favor, anyways, which is bad for Microsoft because, especially with their controllers being the Wi-Fi settings that they are. So, unless Microsoft is planning on coming out with a whole new division of Xbox 360s, all with Bluetooth controllers, they may have to come up with a whole new console to make up for whatever losses. I mean, this happened before with the original Xbox and certain lawsuits with Nvidia and forcing Microsoft to come up with the Xbox 360 rather fucking early. Of course, the 360, even though as fast it was being pushed out, still managed to beat the PS3. So there's something there for those PS3 fanboys. So not only was PlayStation beaten by a console that didn't have HD, the Nintendo Wii, but they were also beaten by a console that was rushed out insanely fast and had a lot of breakdowns. And yeah, it's still somewhat insanely confusing on how this may or may not go. I mean, we do know that Microsoft has been working on making their next gen console, so they pretty much already have their next gen consoles. They make a next gen console every year, just in case, I guess, if they have to push it out, they'll have one up and ready and running. So Microsoft, I guess, in a way, kind of secured themselves or future-proofed themselves for this inevitability. And I know that since 2009 that Microsoft has been toying with the idea of replacing Wi-Fi with Bluetooth anyways. Pretty much all the companies are using Bluetooth, so I, I think it's a little weird that Microsoft decided to stay with Wi-Fi for some bizarre reason. Well, okay, back then it was pretty expensive to make, but now it's kind of cheap since 2009 anyways. So it's not really that difficult to just slap that on in there. And since they already got their online thing, they can just transfer it all and turn it in their Xbox 720. All they're going to do is just update the hardware anyways. Especially if this lawsuit does turn out the way it does. Just saying. I'm not going to say, oh, Motorola's going to own Microsoft. We don't know that yet. And Motorola Mobile is, I think has been completely taken over by Google, even though there's still some aspects of Motorola Mobile that still works with Motorola. But Google illegally bought them and owns all the patents to Motorola Mobile, and I think is going to continue suing Microsoft over certain phone issues. But as for Motorola itself, I don't know why they're suddenly coming out with this patent lawsuit, but there is a good chance they could win, and there's a good chance they could not win. It could go either which way. But I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I'll probably end up with like one or two comments, probably from Vicious Dave. But we'll wait and see how it turns out. That's all I can really say. Bye.